Hey, what's up guys, Shelby here. Just after the PlayStation E3 conference, I'm not sure what I'm going to put over this video, what gameplay, and I'm not sure how I'm exactly going to do it, but I'm just going to give a summary, give my thoughts, that kind of thing on the conference, which I have to say was pretty good, and the crowd reaction was similar to how I think. So they began with the PS Vita. There was a focus on like indie developers. They talked about some games: Batman Arkham Origins, Counterspy, Destiny of Spirits, Killzone Mercenary, God of War stuff, Final Fantasy, The Walking Dead. That was interesting. Then they talked a little bit about the PS3, The Last of Us, which I'm very excited about. I'm definitely going to have some gameplay of that. It's been given 10 out of 10 by across the board basically, and it's been rated the highest game, highest game in 2 years. Then they had Puppetteer, which is a lot like Little Big Planet. Rain, which looked pretty interesting. Beyond Two Souls, which looked really good. Gran Turismo 6. I mean, I want this on the PlayStation 4, but they're not sure how that's going to work. Then a new physics engine is in GT6, a new suspension model, new aerodynamics, adaptive tessellation, which just accounts to better graphics, and a new rendering engine, which again, better graphics. Batman Arkham Origins, 25th of the 10th of this year. Then my stream crashed, so I didn't really get a lot after that for a bit. Then Grand Theft Auto 5, and they said there's going to be some exclusive stuff. Then finally they got onto the PlayStation 4, and they showed it off very quickly. It's not actually what I was expecting. It's similar to Xbox, but not quite the same in the sense that it's not as gay. And then they talked about entertainment, but at least this was only for 5 minutes. They talked about, Netflix and music and video unlimited, all that kind of stuff for a little bit. I was getting worried for a bit, but then they got onto the games, and wow, was there a lot of games to talk about. So Shu Yoshida came onto the stage with some awesome intro music, and he talked about the connection between the gamers and the developers. So there's this a very interesting game called The Order 1866, which looked very interesting. It had radios, guns, and horse and cart, which is a confusing combination. They had Killzone Shadowfall. They had just some of the awesome technology in that game. Drive Club, which looks great, and I'll get onto a little bit more of that later. Infamous Second Son, which looked awesome. There's a completely new story, a new setting. I didn't know a lot about it, but I'm definitely getting that. Then they talked a little about Knack. I mean, no one really cares, to be perfectly honest. It's quite a kids game. So Drive Club, Knack, and Killzone Shadowfall are going to be launch titles, and then Infamous Second Son in Q1 of 2014. So they talked about, because there's better graphics, they can show more emotion with the facial features. So the Dark Sorcerer had quite a humorous little teaser. The facial features in that were very real, and it was very entertaining. Adam Boyes came onto the stage and talked a lot about the indie developers and the connection, and what it meant if they on the PlayStation 4 for indie developers, and basically they can self-publish, which is a huge deal for indie developers. I mean, it's on the App Store, it's on Android. You can just put your own games out there, whereas on Xbox you have to have it kind of approved, in a sense, like more. It's harder basically. And this began with the indie section in the PlayStation Store. I think it's on there now. And then my stream kept crashing again. But then we had Diablo 3, with some exclusive items on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. And then Square Enix, I'm quite a fan, but they Final Fantasy versus 13, which looked very good. And then one of the biggest kind of announcements was Kingdom Hearts 3, which I know a lot of people are very interested in that. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that looked good. They actually showed gameplay of it. Unfortunately, though, it ended quite badly. And then Watch Dogs came on, and then the guy T-Bone just picked up a motherboard. Like, what the fuck? And then it kind of showed how everything is connected, because someone had a tablet and they can control the game basically. And then they brought in LeBron James for 2K14 and showed him in game and real life, and then that was a bit funny. Elder Scrolls Online, very excited for this. There's going to be the beta on the PlayStation 4, which I'm going to assume is probably going to be available to PlayStation Plus members, which I'm going to get to soon. Then Mad Max, that looks interesting. So they announced that over 140 games are in development for the PlayStation 4, with 100 of these coming out within the first year of the launch. And then there are 40 out of the 140 games are exclusives, purely to the PlayStation 4. And then one of the biggest announcements of the stream was that PlayStation 4 supports used games. This is huge, as the competitor does not. So there were huge cheers from the crowd. It went for like 2 minutes. So then you can trade them, you can lend them, you can sell them, or you can keep them. You can do what you want. The crowd reaction was incredible. And then they followed that up with no online authentication in every 24 hours or whatever the Xbox has. They don't have that at all. You don't have to check in all the time. Just a not so subtle dig at Xbox's DRM. It was quite hilarious, but there was some very big reaction to that. Then they talked a bit about cross-game voice chat, which isn't really anything new. And then play as you download, that kind of sharing stuff as well. And then they got into PlayStation Plus, and I am a big advocate for that. It cost me $55, and I've gotten about 20 games from that. It's very, very worth it. So it's going to carry over with the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, and the PlayStation Vita all having the one subscription of less than $5 a month. And the instant game collection is going to continue, which is the best thing ever, basically. And they're giving PlayStation Plus subscribers Drive Club, the game, for PlayStation 4 at launch. That's huge. I'm pretty much sold on it. I'm buying it. And then they ended with Destiny. They had a gameplay worldwide reveal, reveal. And then it's awesome. It's like Halo, but not gay. So they have an exclusive partnership with Bungie and Activision for Destiny. And then they had a little bit about Gaikai. It'll basically just be a library that you can buy and rent things from. There's going to be the cloud service starting in the US in 2014, and then expanding on from there. And then it's getting console quality games on mobile devices, essentially. And then the price, $3.99. The Xbox was announced earlier for $4.99. That's a big difference. That's a big difference, especially compared to this generation where they began at $1,000. $3.99 makes it very, very accessible for a huge audience. And well, that's basically where they ended it. So thanks for listening. I'm pretty much sold on the PlayStation 4. Very excited to just hear more about it. For $3.99, I mean, I was expecting $700 and I was planning to pay that, but $3.99 sold. Even Xbox at $500, that's a pretty good deal. But then once you factor in paying for live, yeah, and you don't really get anything for live. Whereas PlayStation Plus, you get free games. That's a pretty big deal, because that's not cheap for Sony. But $50, $60 a year to get PlayStation Plus compared to whatever it is for Xbox, 80 or something now, just to play online, it's not really worth it. And then they didn't mention anything about a Kinect, so you know, they've been going pretty well, Sony, I think. And thanks for listening, and have a nice day.